do you have domestic swaps with domestic banks?
Yeah,
That is not taken out?
that is not taken up. This is for the external liabilities are being taken up.
But domestic liability in forex,
Yeah, important.
but you still need forex. I mean, when we did the restructure, why did we impose any burden on the commercial banks?
That's a more hot money type of operation.
Yeah, so that is even worse. No?
Yeah, that's it.
Can you give us the definition of net international reserves in terms of your central banks looking at it? And also the program, IMF has a different definition of NIR. Could you kindly explain this to us?
From the central bank definition, from the gross official reserves, we remove the central bank liabilities. The central bank main liabilities are three main liabilities. One is our previous IMF program outstanding balance.
Previous.
The current one is for the government. It's not our liability. The 2016 programs remaining balance is a liability for us, and PBOC swap is a liability. That's around 1.36 billion, and also we have a liability with the RBI swap that has around 900 million as a liability. So when you take out these three major components, you get the NIR as per the central bank definition.
So what did you say the gross reserves was about 6.2 billion?
Yeah.
And the NIR was about
3.4.
3.4 billion. So it's about 2.8 billion. No, how much? 2.8 billion. 2.8 billion is 1.3 billion is your PBOC swap.
Yeah.
Then you have a India RBI swap. And then you have
IMF liabilities around 580 million.
That's the continuation to 16 balance payment.
So now,
After 2016 balance payment.
the remaining balance to be paid.
how much was the RBI swap?
RBI swap current balance is around 880.
So 880. And
Yeah.
the remaining IMF payment was?
580.
Okay, right. Then do you have domestic swaps with domestic banks?
Yeah,
Forex swaps with domestic banks? So that is not taken out?
that is not taken up. This is for the external liabilities are being taken out.
But say you have a swap with HSBC or Stan Chart or something. That is still a central bank liability, is it not?
But domestic liability.
But domestic liability in forex.
Yeah, important.
But you still need forex. I mean, when we did the restructure, I mean, why did we impose any burden on the commercial banks? You said, look, they are holding ISBs.
No.
So my point being,
These are domestic short-term swaps with less than 1 year maturity.
yeah, but RBI swap isn't
RBI
it
swap
short
is
term?
longer term
That was
because it
3 years.
converted into
3 years.
3 years.
So if it is a domestic long-term swap,
We don't
Long-term
have
swaps-
long-term.
we don't have
swaps,
long-term
mainly.
swaps.
So these are the CDBs.
huh?
These
No,
are the
swaps.
Local CDBs.
Local
Say,
swap with the
bonds
commercial
in
bank.
dollar less than 1 year tenure.
Yeah, less than 1 year.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
So that's a more hot money type of operation.
Yeah, so that is even worse. No?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I mean, what I'm saying is, let's look at here you have basically earned reserves, no, governor.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what we had during the previous calamity was we had so much of hot money, like $3.5 billion of hot money,
Correct.
and we had about $2.8 billion of short-term swaps, which the then governor said, look, we have 6 billion, 7 billion in reserves, which we didn't really have. So the objective here is to ensure that these are stable long-term reserves. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. So if that is the case, if you have even in the domestic market swaps on USD, should not that be removed from your calculation?
No, I think we can show separately this reserve build up through kind of the genuine inflows. That is the difference we have seen last 3 years. The first year almost 1.8 billion we purchased net basis from the market. Last year 2.8 billion. This year so far 1.4 billion. So that is the key source of reserve build up for last 3 years compared to previous several years. All the years we have been net intervention in the market, not the net absorption. That's a key way of building up reserves through current account surpluses that we have been generating last 3 years. On top of that, we also would like to build some of the levels of gross operational reserves on the basis of whatever money coming in. This is another instrument for the banks. For example, banks on liquidity. This is an instrument that we provide to the banks. If they have rupee liquidity, they can enter into a swap with central bank and get the rupee liquidity for their lending purposes in the local market. That is one of the instruments that banks have been using mainly for short-term liquidity purposes. That we can't say no to that. If there's opportunity, I think we should use that to also provide the liquidity to the banking system. That's another instrument in the market for them to use and for us to at least short-term basis build our resource over and above. If you say that cannot be done, basically then we have to do more market intervention to fill that gap. That have other implications.
Now, the reason I'm asking this question is twofold. One is, there was or there continues to be sort of a target somewhere of something like 7 billion or 8 billion or something like that on the gross side.
That's not a target. That's
that's what I'm saying. That's why I say something floating around.
Estimate. Yes.
Right? Something. It's not a target. It's an estimate. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
But there's a number. Right? Now, to what extent do you think it is important, to get to that number? Or given the fact that you have 3.4 net international reserves billion, and you are also positive about 3 billion, I think, according to the IMF's report on your program net international reserve, you seem to be meeting the objectives.
Yeah.
What is your short-term plan in terms of maintaining these reserves, both at the gross and the net?
I think short-term plan is, for example, this short-term liabilities in terms of swaps would be helpful for us to meet short-term obligations of the government debt service payments. For example, if we know next year government debt service payments are, say, for example, 3.5 billion. That's the next 12 months, 3.5 billion debt service payment that we have to provide for exchange. For that, if we can provide 75% out of our permanently stable resource through our interventions, we can provide 100%, that's good. If we think that we can't build 3.5 billion within 1 year, then other way is to build in the short term and then roll it over a period of time. At least we need to have sufficient buffers to meet the debt service obligation of the government. So usually it's after restructuring, compared to earlier $6 billion every year, towards the end of the crisis, now we have restructured up to last couple of years, 2.75 billion on average. After the restructuring of 2028 onwards, it will be 3.5 billion. So annual 3.5 billion requirement. Perfect solution would be we can build our own current account surpluses, 3.5 billion, then all current account balance as good, stable resource. But it's not realistic for within 1 year for us to build buy out of the current account proceeds 3.5 billion. Maximum we bought the history last year to 2.8 billion because they are motor vehicle import restriction. 40%. That's why the gap will have to be filled through short-term financing. This is one of the instruments. We can provide liquidity and at the same time short-term financial requirement can be met out of this domestic swaps with the commercial because they are also building their resource. It's not that we are pushing them to bring that in because they are also building their foreign currency resource in their accounts. So they can use that their foreign currency balances for them to be without permanently outright selling that to the central bank. They can have that money back if they want after 3 months or 6 months. That's a strategy they are also basically employing for them to have some kind of a cushion for them.
When you mention they mean the commercial banks.
Commercial banks.
Yeah.